Greetings, and welcome to another lesson from the members of Ashtar Command on Hades Base, channeled by Mark Crocker, with this one taking place in 1997. My name is Russ Hatfield, and behind my shoulder is Kara, my twin soul and higher dimensional member of Ashtar Command on Hades Base. In this lesson, Omal gives a dissertation on spiritual consciousness and development by pointing out a lot of it has to do with self-love, and a lot of self-love is having a strong moral background. He uses the Ten Commandments as a basis to form those morals, with many making a lot of sense in the modern world. You can follow our online transcript at the link below at our homepage, centerforascension.org, and if you wish, please subscribe at the end of this video to be alerted to future lessons from the Center for Ascension. So now, we present Omal and Self-Love to Spiritual Development.
Greetings and felicitations, Russ.
Greetings, Omal. I'm honored to have you with us again.
Okay, let us cover Tia's long dissertation. Okay, about the only thing that I think that we can edit is the little bit concerning. We can keep all of it.
Fair enough. Thank you. It's a good, informative dissertation, I'd say.
Thank you. Tia is delighted.
I bet she is.
Okay, let us get down to my favourite topic, spiritual consciousness and development.
New key.
Maybe, maybe not. Self-love. Carrying on from where we left off. Okay. Self-love, to quote, "There is no viler sin than self-love except self-neglect." Now, why is it that Shakespeare used that quote? That self-love is a sin? It is not. Self-love is the first key to development, to be able to evolve. After all, you cannot love others if you do not love yourself. And with this self-love and how it grows and develops is something that comes along with spiritual growth. The more that you love yourself, the more that you take care of yourself, the more that you see opportunities to improve upon yourself. I don't mean externally as in cosmetics. I mean internally, making yourself a better person, using experiences to grow, to take care of yourself. These things create self-love. They create confidence. Having confidence can lead you on a pathway of love of all things, being aware of where you wish to go, how you wish to develop, where you want to go, how you wish to be. All these factors together make you a better person in your development level on how you achieve your goal. Now, looking at higher consciousness in relationship to self-love, this is where it becomes more of an abstract idea, but an idea which is a part of it. From self-love springs love of all things, as I have stated. Now, with the spiritual growth that is incorporated in this, and the natural progression and development that you go through on this spiritual quest, is the idea that it is necessary to spread your knowledge. But because the knowledge is not the accepted normal practice, it is looked upon as strange. How do you overcome this? Very simply, you do not preach. You do not tell, as in dictating this is the way that it is. You tell it in a way that it works for me. It is a moral decision. And how you interact with this moral consciousness, and people interact with you, with the high ethical standards that comes with this, in this moral setup. Moral behavior serves a key function with the necessary interactions that come with a higher moral consciousness. Do unto others as you wish done unto yourself. Do as I say, not as I did. These are two phrases which are useful in the helping of other people. Let us look at do as I say, not as I did. You use your failures, your mistakes, your pains, your sufferings as an example, and what the answers should have been, and how you learnt from these mistakes. As a teacher and communicator, it is important to articulate these things well, to make it a good lesson in morality. And by teaching these morals, by interacting in a particular way, your development of yourself occurs, as well as the individuals that you are teaching. And from this, you get the feeling of affection for these individuals, and from them, the feeling of affection for you, which increases your self-love of yourself, that you have done a good job, that you have interacted well. And the cycle is repeated. From this cycle, a spiral is created. Instead of a spiral spiraling in, it is an ever-increasing spiral out from you. You may interact with 4 individuals. Those 4 individuals may interact with 4 more individuals, who interact with more individuals. So your teachings and your moral principles are passed on. But you have to stick to those moral principles. Those moral principles vary for each individual. For example, on the higher spiritual levels, adultery does not exist. Fornication does not exist. But on the 3rd dimension, it is part of the principles and teachings of a 3rd dimensional religion. You can use the discussion of, well, if we are created by a God, and these things are pleasurable, then they cannot be bad. But they can be bad in a moral point of view, because, for example, coveting your neighbour's person, wife, husband, whatever, creates friction. It may feel good to join with that individual, but it is bad morally. It causes pain and jealousy and possibly even death. So these morals that are developed at an early age for individuals must be put into play for the spiritual growth and development that comes along with these matters. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, it's tough to answer questions on something like this. The only thing I really would have a question about is the fact that even though your morals are set at a young age, wouldn't being the fall into those lessons and going through those problems create a higher standard of morals then afterwards?
No. And the reason being that if you had learnt your morals, you would not have needed to have learnt these experiences. You would not have had to have experienced these things to realize that the morals were correct. You see, the principal function of morals is so that you can interact and do not need to learn these lessons, because these lessons have already been put before you, analysed and learned by learning the morals. The morals are like learning 2 plus 2 equals 4. You don't have to go out there and find out for yourself. You have to learn that 2 plus 2 equals 4. It does not equal 3 or 5. It equals 4. And that is the way that it is. So by learning morals, they are there so that you don't have to experience these situations. These situations bring upon pain and suffering. If you do not learn your morals, then they serve the function of creating the morals that you need. But the morals are there as a purpose. They are there to help you develop without suffering, without going through these problems. There are certainly in your lives more experiences that don't require morals, that you can learn from. But having to relearn these lessons that you should have learned through your morals strikes me as a bit of a waste. It slows down the growth, and it slows down your development. Pause the tape, please. Okay. More questions, please.
Okay. In any form of civilization, we're all basically going upon what people have taught us, where people have gone wrong before. The only problems I have is the fact that a lot of people would feel that, okay, they've been there, they've done that, but I've learned the lesson correctly until I've done that. And I've seen this happen a million times before. What do you tell these people? This is a waste of time?
No. I tell them that they have not learnt their lessons, so they have to experience it for themselves. They have not learnt their moral principles. They have not achieved the spiritual awareness to follow their morals. So therefore they have to relearn the reasons why they learnt their morals in the first place. Certain morals that have gone throughout the ages. Thou shalt not kill. It's a good example, and a good way of putting it. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife. Causes friction. Can even cause murder. Which goes to the second one, or to the first one. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Which can cause jealousy. Jealousy because a person has, and another person does not. The person that does not steals upsets the person that does or did, and can lead to physical harm, and even back to the first one, killing. These are 3 principal morals.
Now Jesus in the New Testament, he said, basically, or Sananda, love thy neighbor as yourself.
That is a commandment from the 10 Commandments.
Oh, okay. Well, what did he say? He says, this law is above all the others.
That is, let me quote, the Lord God Jehovah. That is from the 10 Commandments. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That is my 4th statement that I was going to come to.
Oh.
This law is above all else. And it goes back to last week's dissertation. And self-love. Why?
Because with that, all the other laws fall right into place.
Correct. That if you love your neighbour, you will not want to have his or her bondmate. So therefore, you will not covet thy neighbour's wife or husband. 2. Thou shalt not steal. If you love all things, then you cannot steal because of the respect that you have for all things. And certainly, you shall not kill, because killing somebody is killing yourself, in essence. But there are certain circumstances where it becomes necessary to break thou shalt not kill. And that is where it involves self-love and the well-being of other people. That you give yourself as protector to a group of individuals that cannot protect. If an individual is trying to kill you, then you have to protect the group. And in doing so, you may have to harm and even kill this individual. This is where it becomes another one that should be the 11th commandment. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. From your popular entertainment, a little glimmer of philosophy and truth. As Tia put it, there is a lot of erroneous information, but little snippets, normally involving philosophies. Next question, please.
Well, along that same line, when she mentioned, the various life forms that we aren't even dealing with in the popular entertainment, there are things like the older versions or even the newer versions of Star Trek, which deal with life forms that aren't bipedal, that we would never have any glimpse of except through this. For example, tribbles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're definitely not bipedal. They're a life form, and all they are is just a ball of fur. Cute story, but again, it emphasizes things that, go along with that. There's other things, they're just energy, yet they are life forms.
Correct.
And they travel space.
Mm-hmm. These things that you see in your popular entertainment are just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What about things like Q?
You should talk to Ashtar.
That's pretty close, huh? Without the ego, probably.
Next time Ashtar is present, call him Q. Instead of Ashtar, call him Q.
I'll do so. I don't think I'm going to get a laugh out of it, but I'll do so anyway.
You will later.
Okay.
You will also bring a smile to some very tired faces.
Alrighty, I'll do so.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Live long, prosper, and I'll be back.